Welcome back, everyone. To kick things off, it's a fun idea if you tell me where you're tuning in from in the comments. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Now let's relax and start the show. I sit in my car, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turn white. The engine hums softly, a stark contrast to the turmoil churning inside me. Through the rain-splattered windshield, I watch Lisa, my wife, standing too close to Richard, her boss. Their silhouettes are just visible in the dim light outside the upscale restaurant. Her laugh reaches my ears, loud and clear, even over the steady drumming of the rain. Lisa and I have been married for 10 years. She's everything to me, or at least she was. I'm John, a cybersecurity expert. My life revolves around algorithms, firewalls, and encrypted data. I met Lisa in college. She was vibrant, full of life, and passionate about her dreams of becoming a paralegal. We built a life together, a house in the suburbs, vacations in the summer, and dreams of starting a family. Everything seemed perfect, until now. I see Lisa's hand brush against Richard's arm. My stomach churns with a mixture of anger and fear. I try to convince myself it's nothing. Maybe it's just my imagination. But deep down, I know better. The distance between us, the late nights at work, the evasive answers, it all adds up. The rain stops abruptly, leaving a deafening silence. I strain to hear their conversation. Richard leans in, his hand resting on the small of Lisa's back. She doesn't pull away. My heart sinks. I need to know the truth. The next day, I confront Lisa. She's in the kitchen, sipping her morning coffee. "Lisa, who were you with last night?" I ask, my voice tight. She looks up, her eyes wide with surprise. "Just some colleagues," she says too quickly. "We had a late meeting." I step closer, my heart pounding. "Richard was there, wasn't he?" Lisa's face flushes. "Yes, he was. But it was nothing, John. Just work." Her words hang in the air, hollow and unconvincing. I feel a surge of anger. "I saw you, Lisa. I saw how close you were." She sets her coffee cup down, her hands trembling. "John, you're being paranoid." "Am I?" I snap. "Or are you hiding something?" The tension is thick between us. She turns away, avoiding my gaze. My mind races. I can't let this go. I need proof. That night, while Lisa sleeps, I sit in my office, the glow of my computer screen illuminating my face. I hack into her phone, my fingers flying over the keyboard. It's wrong, I know, but I have to know the truth. As the messages load, my heart pounds in my chest. There it is, the proof I dreaded. Flirty texts, intimate photos, plans to meet. My world shatters. I feel a mix of rage and heartbreak. How could she do this to me? I gave her everything. I look at her sleeping form through the office door, feeling a bitter betrayal. This isn't over. I need to confront her, but I need more than just texts. I need to expose them both. They think they're smart, but they've underestimated me. Everything seems ordinary, but one event completely changes my life. I know now what I have to do. It's time to make them pay. My hands shake as I close the laptop. The messages, the photos, they're burned into my mind. I can't stay in the house with her. I need to get out, clear my head, figure out what to do next. I grab my keys and slip out the door, the quiet click of the lock feeling like a finality I'm not ready to accept. I drive aimlessly, my thoughts racing. Lisa's betrayal cuts deep, but there's more at stake here than my broken heart. Richard is wealthy, powerful, and ruthless. This isn't just about a cheating wife. It's about how they're using their positions to manipulate and steal. I need to be smart, careful. I need a plan. I park by the waterfront, the salty breeze doing little to calm me. I sit there, staring at the dark waves until the sun starts to rise. Then an idea forms. I don't just want to confront them. I want to destroy them. I want them to feel the pain and humiliation they've caused me. And I know exactly how to do it. The next day, I start my research. I delve into the law firm's network, navigating through firewalls and encrypted files. My skills are good, really good, and I move like a ghost, leaving no trace. What I find is worse than I expected. Richard and Lisa are involved in a massive embezzlement scheme. They're funneling money from the firm's accounts into offshore accounts. The evidence is damning. I compile everything: emails, financial records, personal messages. It's enough to bring them both down. But I can't just leak this to the authorities. I need to hit them where it hurts the most. I need to make them suffer. The confrontation with Lisa is inevitable. She's in the living room, reading a book when I walk in. I can't look at her without seeing the betrayal. "Lisa," I say, my voice cold. "We need to talk." She looks up, confusion and worry crossing her face. "What is it, John?" I toss a stack of printed messages and photos onto the coffee table. "Explain this." Her face drains of color. "John, Don't lie to me," I snap. "I know everything. About you and Richard. About the money. All of it." She's silent, tears welling in her eyes. "I'm sorry, John. I never meant to hurt you." "Too late for that," I say, my anger barely contained. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I love you, John. Please, let's talk about this," she pleads, reaching out for me. I pull back, disgusted. "Love? Don't talk to me about love. You betrayed me. You stole from your own firm. You're going to pay for this." Her eyes widen in fear. "What are you going to do?" "You'll find out soon enough," I say, turning away. I need to stay focused. There's no room for pity or second thoughts. As I dig deeper into their scheme, I find more connections, more people involved. This isn't just about Richard and Lisa. It's a web of deceit stretching across the firm, with several key players. I start gathering evidence on them too. The more I find, the more determined I become. They've all gotten too comfortable, too arrogant. It's time someone showed them the consequences of their actions. Lisa tries to reach out to me, to explain, to apologize. I ignore her. There's nothing she can say that will make this right. My focus is on the end game. I work late into the night, piecing together the puzzle, making sure I have everything I need. It's exhausting, but I can't stop. Not until justice is served. One evening, as I'm combing through yet another set of emails, my phone buzzes. It's a message from an unknown number. "We need to talk. Urgent. Meet me at the old warehouse by the docks. Midnight. Come alone." I know it's a trap. It has to be Richard or one of his goons. But I can't resist the chance to confront him. I need to see his face when he realizes he's been outsmarted. I grab my jacket and head out, making sure to bring my concealed weapon. I'm not taking any chances. The warehouse is dark and abandoned, the perfect setting for a confrontation. I step inside, my senses on high alert. Richard is there, leaning against a crate, looking smug as ever. "John, I'm glad you came," he says, his voice dripping with false sincerity. "Cut the crap, Richard. What do you want?" He steps forward, his eyes cold. "You've been digging where you shouldn't. This ends now. Walk away, and I'll forget this ever happened." I laugh, the sound bitter and harsh. "You think I'm scared of you? I have enough evidence to put you away for a long time." Richard's smile fades, replaced by a sneer. "You're making a big mistake, John. You're out of your depth." "I'm just getting started," I say, my voice steady. "And I'm not stopping until you're all behind bars." The tension is palpable. Richard takes a step closer, but I hold my ground. I'm not backing down. Not now, not ever. "Last chance," he says, his tone menacing. "Walk away." "Not a chance," I reply, my resolve unwavering. He lunges at me, but I'm ready. I dodge, landing a solid punch to his gut. He staggers back, winded but not defeated. We grapple, the fight dirty and brutal. I can feel the rage and betrayal fueling me, giving me strength. Richard is strong, but I'm stronger. I finally get the upper hand, pinning him to the ground. "This is over," I say, my voice firm. "You're going to pay for everything you've done." Richard glares up at me, his eyes filled with hatred. "This isn't over," he spits. "You'll regret this." "Maybe," I say, standing up and stepping back, "but you'll regret it more." I leave him there, beaten but alive. I need him to be alive to face the consequences of his actions. I head home, my mind racing with what comes next. The authorities need to know. The media needs to know. I need to make sure this story breaks wide open. The next morning, I make the call. I anonymously tip off the authorities, sending them all the evidence I've gathered. It's risky, but it's the only way to ensure justice. The waiting is the hardest part. Every minute feels like an eternity. Then, the news breaks. Richard is arrested, charged with embezzlement and fraud. Lisa is implicated too, her career in ruins. The scandal rocks the law firm, bringing down several others involved in the scheme. It's a victory, but it feels hollow. Lisa confronts me, tears streaming down her face. "Why, John? Why did you do this?" "Because you betrayed me," I say, my voice cold. "You destroyed everything we had." She sobs, collapsing onto the floor. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "It's too late for sorry," I say, turning away. "You made your choices. Now you have to live with them." The days that follow are a blur. The trial is set, and the media frenzy is relentless. I'm called to testify, my evidence crucial to the prosecution's case. The courtroom is tense, the air thick with anticipation. Lisa and Richard sit at the defense table, their expressions a mix of defiance and desperation. I take the stand, my heart pounding. I recount everything, my discovery of the affair, the hacking, the evidence of embezzlement. My words are clear, precise, leaving no room for doubt. The defense tries to discredit me, but I hold my ground. The truth is undeniable. The verdict comes swiftly. Guilty. Richard and Lisa are sentenced to prison, their lives shattered. Justice is served, but the victory feels bittersweet. I've lost so much, but I've gained a sense of closure, a chance to start anew. As I leave the courtroom, the weight of the past few months lifts from my shoulders. I'm free, but the scars remain. I know it will take time to heal, but I'm ready to move forward. The future is uncertain, but it's mine to shape. And that's a start. My mornings are different now. I wake up to an empty bed, the silence oppressive. Lisa's side is cold, a reminder of the betrayal. I don't miss her, but the absence is a constant ache. I get up, make coffee, and sit at the kitchen table, planning my next move. The trial is approaching, and I need to be ready. My first attempts to solve the problem seem straightforward. I compile the evidence, organizing it meticulously. I need it to be airtight. Richard and Lisa's lawyer is ruthless, and I can't afford any mistakes. I spend hours reviewing everything: emails, bank statements, surveillance footage. Each piece of evidence is a nail in their coffin. One evening, I get a call from Detective Harris. He's the lead investigator on the case, a grizzled veteran with a keen eye for detail. "John, we need to talk," he says, his voice grave. "Meet me at the precinct." I drive there, my mind racing. The precinct is bustling, a hive of activity. Harris meets me in a small, cluttered office. He gestures for me to sit. "We found something," he says, sliding a folder across the desk. "Take a look." I open it and see photos of Richard with another woman, not Lisa. They're at a hotel, looking cozy. "Who is she?" I ask, confused. "Her name's Sandra. She works at the law firm, too. Seems Richard has been spreading his affections around," Harris explains. My stomach churns. "Does Lisa know?" Harris shrugs. "Hard to say, but it complicates things. We need to tread carefully." I nod, my mind reeling. This new revelation changes everything. If Lisa finds out, it could drive her to do something desperate. I need to keep this information under wraps until the trial. I thank Harris and leave, my thoughts a tangled mess. Back home, I dive deeper into Richard's affairs, uncovering more dirt. It's a dangerous game, but I'm driven by a need for justice. Lisa's betrayal hurts, but Richard's deceit is the real cancer. He used his power to manipulate, to destroy. He needs to be stopped. One night, as I'm sifting through more documents, my phone buzzes. It's Lisa. I hesitate before answering. "John, please, can we talk?" she pleads. "What do you want, Lisa?" I ask, my voice cold. I'm sorry for everything. I miss you. Can we at least meet? Her voice cracks, and for a moment I almost feel pity. Fine. Tomorrow, at the cafe by the park, I say, ending the call. I need to see her to understand why she did this. Maybe it will give me closure. The next day, I arrive at the cafe early. The park is bustling, families and couples enjoying the warm weather. Lisa arrives, looking tired and frail. She sits across from me, her eyes red from crying. John, I'm sorry, she begins, her voice trembling. I made a terrible mistake. Why, Lisa? Why did you do it? I ask, my anger barely contained. Richard, he was charming, powerful. I felt trapped in our life. I know it's not an excuse, but I was weak, she admits, tears streaming down her face. You betrayed me. You betrayed us, I say, my voice harsh. And now you're going to pay for it. She nods, defeated. I know. I wanted to say I'm sorry. I still love you, John. Love? You don't know what love is, I say, standing up. Goodbye, Lisa. As I walk away, I feel a strange mix of relief and sadness. I've said my piece, but the wound is still raw. The trial looms, a constant shadow over my life. The next week is a blur of preparations. I meet with the prosecution, going over my testimony. They're confident we have a strong case, but Richard's lawyer is relentless. I can't let my guard down. The day of the trial arrives. The courtroom is packed, the air thick with tension. I sit at the witness stand, my heart pounding. Richard and Lisa are there, looking stoic. Their lawyer, Mr. Donovan, is a shark in a suit, ready to tear me apart. The prosecutor, Ms. Green, starts with the basics. Mr. Anderson, can you describe your relationship with the defendants? I was married to Lisa for 10 years. Richard was her boss, I say, keeping my voice steady. And when did you first suspect something was wrong? She asks. I recount the night I saw them together, the texts, the emails. The courtroom is silent, every eye on me. Donovan watches me like a hawk, waiting for a slip. Ms. Green presents the evidence I gathered, each piece meticulously detailed. The jury watches, their expressions shifting from curiosity to shock. Donovan tries to object, but the judge overrules him. The truth is undeniable. When it's Donovan's turn, he attacks with a vengeance. Mr. Anderson, isn't it true you hacked into private accounts illegally? I did what I had to do to uncover the truth, I say, meeting his gaze. So you admit to breaking the law? He presses. I admit to exposing criminals, I retort. The judge calls for order as murmurs ripple through the courtroom. Donovan smirks. You're no hero, Mr. Anderson. You're a vigilante, taking the law into your own hands. I'm a man who was betrayed and sought justice, I say, my voice firm. The cross-examination is brutal, but I hold my ground. When it's over, I feel drained, but the evidence speaks for itself. The jury deliberates for hours, the tension unbearable. Finally, they return with a verdict. Guilty. Richard and Lisa are sentenced to prison, their lives in ruins. The courtroom erupts in chaos, but I feel a strange sense of calm. Justice has been served. The aftermath is bittersweet. I've won, but at what cost? My marriage is over, my life in shambles. I return home, the house feeling empty and cold. I sit at the kitchen table, staring at the documents that started it all. It's over, but the scars remain. Days turn into weeks, the routine a dull comfort. I keep busy, diving into work, trying to rebuild. The media frenzy dies down, and life slowly returns to normal. But the pain lingers, a constant reminder of the betrayal. One evening, I get a call from Harris. John, we've uncovered more about Richard's network. It's bigger than we thought. We could use your help. I hesitate. I want to move on, to leave this chapter behind, but a part of me is still driven by a need for justice. I'll help, I say, my resolve firm. The investigation takes over my life. I work closely with Harris, uncovering more layers of corruption. It's exhausting, but it gives me purpose. I'm determined to see this through, to ensure no one else suffers like I did. During one late-night session, Harris and I are poring over documents when he looks up, concern in his eyes. "John, you need to be careful. These people are dangerous." "I know," I say, my voice steely, "but I won't stop until they're all brought to justice." The threat is real, but I've come too far to back down now. Each new piece of evidence is a step closer to dismantling Richard's network. The stakes are high, but I'm ready for whatever comes next. As the investigation deepens, the risks escalate. I receive anonymous threats, my phone buzzing with ominous messages. But I refuse to be intimidated. I've faced betrayal, heartbreak, and loss. There's nothing they can do to break me now. One night, as I'm working late, I hear a noise outside. My heart pounds as I grab my weapon and move silently through the house. I peek through the window and see a figure lurking in the shadows. I flip on the porch light and the figure bolts, disappearing into the night. My hands shake, but my resolve hardens. They won't scare me off. The next morning I report the incident to Harris. He's concerned, but not surprised. "We'll increase security," he says, "but stay vigilant." "They know you're a threat." "I'm not backing down," I reply. "We're close, and they know it." The investigation reaches a critical point. We've gathered enough evidence to bring down several key players. Harris and his team prepare for a series of raids, targeting the heart of Richard's network. The night of the raids, I'm with Harris, monitoring the operations from a safe location. The tension is palpable, every second stretching into eternity. Then, the calls start coming in. One by one, the targets are apprehended, their operations dismantled. When it's over, I feel a surge of relief and triumph. We've done it. We've brought down the network. Harris claps me on the back, his eyes reflecting my own exhaustion and satisfaction. "Good job, John. You've made a difference." As I drive home, the streets are quiet, the city asleep. I feel a sense of peace for the first time in months. The journey has been long and painful, but it's finally over. I pull into my driveway, the house no longer feeling empty and cold. It's a place of new beginnings. Inside, I sit at the kitchen table, the silence comforting. I've faced my demons, sought. The culmination of this nightmare is coming. I can feel it. Every muscle in my body is tense, coiled like a spring, ready to snap. The trial is the final battlefield, and I need to be at my best. This is where everything will come to a head. In the days leading up to the trial, I can barely sleep. My nights are filled with restless dreams, images of Lisa and Richard haunting me. I wake up drenched in sweat, my heart racing. During the day, I throw myself into preparations, reviewing every piece of evidence, every argument. Ms. Green, the prosecutor, is relentless, pushing me to recount every detail of my discovery. She's good at her job, and I trust her. But the stakes are high, and I can't afford any mistakes. Lisa tries to reach out to me several times, her messages pleading for a meeting. I ignore her. I've said all I need to say. Now, it's about justice. The day of the trial dawns gray and foreboding. The courthouse looms large, a stark reminder of the gravity of the situation. I arrive early. The corridor is already buzzing with reporters and spectators. The air is thick with anticipation. I see Lisa and Richard arrive, escorted by their legal team. They look composed, but I know them too well. Fear lurks beneath their calm exteriors. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere is tense. The judge, a stern woman with sharp eyes, calls the session to order. The jury files in, their expressions a mix of curiosity and seriousness. This is it. There's no turning back. Ms. Green starts strong, laying out the case with precision. She presents the evidence I gathered, each piece meticulously detailed. The jury listens intently, their focus unwavering. When it's my turn to testify, I take a deep breath and step up to the stand. The room feels smaller, the walls closing in. "Mr. Anderson, can you tell us how you first became aware of the defendant's actions?" Ms. Green asks, her voice steady. I recount everything. The night I saw Lisa and Richard together, the messages, the discovery of the embezzlement scheme. My voice is clear, every word carefully chosen. I can feel Richard's gaze on me, a burning intensity that I refuse to acknowledge. Lisa sits with her head bowed, her face a mask of regret. Donovan, Richard's lawyer, is relentless in his cross-examination. He tries to discredit me, painting me as a bitter, vengeful husband. Mr. Anderson, isn't it true that you hacked into private accounts illegally? He presses, his tone mocking. I did what I had to do to uncover the truth, I reply, meeting his gaze head-on. So you admit to breaking the law? He asks, his smile predatory. I admit to exposing criminals, I retort, my voice firm. The judge calls for order as murmurs ripple through the courtroom. Donovan's smirk falters. He switches tactics, trying to paint Lisa as a victim, manipulated by Richard. Mrs. Anderson, did you feel pressured or coerced by Mr. Sterling? He asks, his voice softening. Lisa hesitates, her eyes flicking to mine. Yes, she says finally, her voice barely above a whisper. Richard. He had a way of making you feel like you owed him everything. It's a blow, but I hold my ground. I know the truth, and so does she. The cross-examination is brutal, but I remain composed, my answers unwavering. When it's over, I feel drained, but the evidence speaks for itself. The jury deliberates for hours, the tension unbearable. Finally, they return with a verdict. Guilty. Richard and Lisa are sentenced to prison, their lives in ruins. The courtroom erupts in chaos, but I feel a strange sense of calm. Justice has been served. The aftermath is bittersweet. I've won, but at what cost? My marriage is over, my life in shambles. I return home, the house feeling empty and cold. I sit at the kitchen table, staring at the documents that started it all. It's over, but the scars remain. Days turn into weeks, the routine a dull comfort. I keep busy, diving into work, trying to rebuild. The media frenzy dies down, and life slowly returns to normal. But the pain lingers, a constant reminder of the betrayal. One evening, I get a call from Harris. John, we've uncovered more about Richard's network. It's bigger than we thought. We could use your help. I hesitate. I want to move on, to leave this chapter behind, but a part of me is still driven by a need for justice. I'll help, I say, my resolve firm. The investigation takes over my life. I work closely with Harris, uncovering more layers of corruption. It's exhausting, but it gives me purpose. I'm determined to see this through, to ensure no one else suffers like I did. During one late-night session, Harris and I are poring over documents when he looks up, concern in his eyes. John, you need to be careful. These people are dangerous. I know, I say, my voice steely, but I won't stop until they're all brought to justice. The threat is real, but I've come too far to back down now. Each new piece of evidence is a step closer to dismantling Richard's network. The stakes are high, but I'm ready for whatever comes next. As the investigation deepens, the risks escalate. I receive anonymous threats, my phone buzzing with ominous messages. But I refuse to be intimidated. I've faced betrayal, heartbreak, and loss. There's nothing they can do to break me now. One night, as I'm working late, I hear a noise outside. My heart pounds as I grab my weapon and move silently through the house. I peek through the window and see a figure lurking in the shadows. I flip on the porch light and the figure bolts, disappearing into the night. My hands shake, but my resolve hardens. They won't scare me off. The next morning, I report the incident to Harris. He's concerned, but not surprised. We'll increase security, he says, but stay vigilant. They know you're a threat. I'm not backing down, I reply. We're close, and they know it. The investigation reaches a critical point. We've gathered enough evidence to bring down several key players. Harris and his team prepare for a series of raids, targeting the heart of Richard's network. The night of the raids, I'm with Harris, monitoring the operations from a safe location. The tension is palpable, every second stretching into eternity. Then, the calls start coming in. One by one, The targets are apprehended, their operations dismantled. When it's over, I feel a surge of relief and triumph. We've done it. We've brought down the network. Harris claps me on the back, his eyes reflecting my own exhaustion and satisfaction. Good job, John. You've made a difference. As I drive home, the streets are quiet, the city asleep. I feel a sense of peace for the first time in months. The journey has been long and painful, but it's finally over. I pull into my driveway, the house no longer feeling empty and cold. It's a place of new beginnings. Inside, I sit at the kitchen table, the silence comforting. I've faced my demons, sought justice, and won. But the journey has taken its toll. I've lost a part of myself in the process, but I've also gained something invaluable: clarity. I know who I am and what I stand for. The phone rings, breaking the silence. It's Harris. John, there's something you need to see. Can you come to the precinct? I feel a pang of anxiety but agree. At the precinct, Harris shows me a folder. We found this during the raids. It's a list of names, people connected to Richard's network. Your name is on it. My blood runs cold. What does this mean? It means they were watching you. You were a target, Harris explains. But we've got them now. You're safe. The reality of the danger I was in hits me like a punch to the gut. I realize how close I came to losing everything. But I also feel a sense of vindication. I've faced down my enemies and come out on top. I return home feeling a mix of relief and exhaustion. The house is quiet, a sanctuary from the storm. I pour myself a drink and sit by the window, watching the stars. The future is uncertain, but I'm ready to face it. I've survived betrayal, heartbreak, and danger. Whatever comes next, I know I have the strength to overcome it. I think about Lisa and Richard, about the choices they made and the consequences they faced. Their story is over, but mine is just beginning. The journey has been hard, but it's also been a journey of self-discovery. I've learned that I'm stronger than I ever imagined, that I can face my fears and conquer them. As I finish my drink, I feel a sense of peace. The battle is over, but the war for justice continues, and I'm ready to fight. The day after the raids, the house feels different. The silence is no longer oppressive. It's peaceful. I've done what I set out to do. Now it's time to pick up the pieces. I start by going through the house, room by room. I remove every trace of Lisa. Her clothes, her books, even the little things like her hairpins. It's painful, but necessary. Each item I discard feels like shedding a layer of the past, making room for something new. When I'm done, the house feels emptier, but also cleaner, lighter. It's a place where I can start over. Next, I focus on my job. Harris offers me a position as a cybersecurity consultant for the department. It's a good opportunity, a way to use my skills for something positive. I accept, throwing myself into the work. It's challenging and demanding, but it keeps my mind occupied. The days are long but fulfilling. One evening, Harris invites me for a drink. We sit in a quiet bar, the dim lighting casting shadows on the walls. He raises his glass. To new beginnings, he says. To new beginnings, I echo, clinking my glass with his. As we talk, the conversation turns to the future. What's next for you, John? Harris asks, genuinely curious. I think for a moment. I'm not sure. I've spent so long chasing justice. I haven't thought much about what comes after. He nods. You've been through a lot. It's time to focus on yourself. He's right. I've been so consumed by the need for revenge, I've forgotten what it's like to live, to enjoy life. It's time to change that. Over the next few weeks, I make a conscious effort to reconnect with the world. I take long walks, explore the city, try new things. It's strange, stepping out of the shadow of the past, but also liberating. I start to feel alive again. One afternoon, while I'm sitting in a cafe, I notice a woman reading a book at a nearby table. She looks up and catches my eye, giving me a small, shy smile. I smile back, feeling a flutter of something I haven't felt in a long time. Hope. Her name is Emily. She's an artist with a passion for painting and a warmth that draws me in. We start talking, and before I know it, Hours have passed. There's an ease between us, a connection that feels natural and unforced. We exchange numbers and I leave the cafe with a spring in my step. Our first date is a walk in the park, followed by dinner at a cozy little restaurant. We talk about everything and nothing, sharing stories and laughter. There's no pressure, no expectations, just two people enjoying each other's company. As the evening ends, she leans in and kisses me. It's soft, gentle, and full of promise. The relationship with Emily is different from anything I've experienced. There's no drama, no deceit, just honesty and affection. It's refreshing, a reminder that life can be beautiful. We spend more time together, exploring the city, discovering new places. Each moment with her is a step toward healing, a move away from the darkness of the past. One night, we're sitting on her couch, the room filled with the soft glow of candles. She looks at me, her eyes full of emotion. "John, I know you've been through a lot. I don't want to rush things, but I need you to know that I care about you. Deeply." I take her hand, feeling a warmth spread through me. "Emily, you've been a light in my life when I needed it the most. I care about you too, more than I can say." The intimacy we share is more than just physical. It's a connection of souls, a bond that goes beyond words. As we make love, I feel a sense of completeness, a merging of our bodies and hearts. It's passionate and tender, a dance of trust and desire. The trial's aftermath continues to unfold. Richard and Lisa's network is dismantled, their influence broken. The media moves on, finding new scandals to chase. My role in the investigation is acknowledged, but I prefer to stay out of the spotlight. My work with the police department gives me purpose, a way to contribute without being consumed by the past. Emily's support is unwavering. She understands my need to keep some distance, to process everything at my own pace. We grow closer, our relationship deepening with each passing day. I find myself opening up to her in ways I never thought possible, sharing my fears and hopes. She listens, offering comfort and understanding. One day, Harris calls me with news. "John, we've found something you need to see. Can you come to the precinct?" I feel a surge of anxiety but agree. At the precinct, Harris shows me a folder. It's about Lisa. She's been trying to make a deal, offering information in exchange for a reduced sentence. My heart sinks. What kind of information? She claims she has evidence of other illegal activities within the firm, things we haven't uncovered yet. I feel a mix of anger and pity. "And you believe her?" Harris sighs. "It's hard to say, but if it's true, it could help us take down the last remnants of Richard's network." I nod, feeling a knot of tension in my stomach. Do what you need to do. As I leave the precinct, I feel the weight of the past pressing down on me. Lisa's betrayal is a wound that will never fully heal, but I can't let it define me. I need to keep moving forward, to build a new life. That evening, I tell Emily about the latest developments. She listens, her eyes filled with concern. "John, whatever happens, I'm here for you. We'll get through this together." Her words are a balm to my soul. I pull her close, feeling her warmth seep into me. "Thank you, Emily. I don't know what I'd do without you." Days turn into weeks, and the investigation into Richard's network finally comes to a close. The remaining players are arrested, their operations dismantled. It's a victory, but it feels hollow. The real victory is in the life I'm rebuilding, the love I've found with Emily. One afternoon, we're sitting in the park, watching the world go by. Emily turns to me, her eyes bright. "John, I've been thinking. Maybe it's time for us to take a trip, get away from all this for a while. The idea is tempting." "Where do you want to go?" "Anywhere. Everywhere. Just us, exploring the world." I smile, feeling a sense of excitement. I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. We start planning, dreaming of distant places and new adventures. It's a fresh start, a chance to leave the past behind and embrace the future. The journey ahead is uncertain, but it's one I'm eager to take. As we walk through the park hand in hand, I feel a sense of peace. The scars of the past are still there, but they've faded. I've found love and purpose, a reason to move forward. The road has been long and hard, but I've emerged stronger, ready to face whatever comes next. In the distance, the sun sets, casting a warm glow over the city. I look at Emily, her face bathed in the golden light. She smiles at me, her eyes filled with love and hope. In that moment, I know that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. The past is behind me, and the future is bright. Together, we can face anything. The journey to justice has been arduous, but it's led me to a place of healing and new beginnings. I found strength in adversity, love in unexpected places, and a future filled with promise. As I take Emily's hand, I feel a sense of calm and certainty. The battle is over, but the journey continues, and I'm ready for whatever lies ahead. The final confrontation is coming. Lisa's attempt to make a deal with the authorities has added a new twist to the saga. I can feel the tension in the air, the unresolved conflict bubbling beneath the surface. Emily stands by my side, her support unwavering, but I know this is something I need to face head-on. I meet with Harris at the precinct. "John, we've arranged a meeting with Lisa. She's ready to talk," he says, his tone serious. "We need you there." I nod, my heart pounding. This is it, the final reckoning. "When?" "Tomorrow. Be ready." The next day, I enter the interrogation room, the cold fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows. Lisa sits at the table, looking more fragile than ever. Her eyes meet mine, a mixture of regret and defiance. "John," she says, her voice barely a whisper. "Lisa," I reply, keeping my emotions in check. Harris takes a seat beside me, his presence a steadying force. "All right, Lisa, tell us what you know." She takes a deep breath, her hands trembling. Richard was involved in more than just embezzlement. There were bribes, kickbacks, illegal deals. I have evidence, emails, records. I can help you bring down the rest of his network. Harris leans forward, his eyes narrowing. "Why now? Why are you coming forward?" Tears well in Lisa's eyes. "I want to make things right. I know I've done terrible things, but I can't live with the guilt anymore. I need to make amends." I feel a surge of conflicting emotions, anger, pity, sadness. "You think this will make up for what you did?" I ask, my voice tight. She looks down, her tears falling onto the table. "No, but it's a start." Harris turns to me. "John, what do you think?" I take a moment, weighing my options. If she can help bring down the rest of Richard's network, it's worth it. But she needs to face the consequences of her actions. Harris nods, satisfied. "All right, Lisa, we'll work out the details. But understand this, there's no escaping your punishment." Lisa nods, her shoulders slumping in defeat. "I understand." The days that follow are a whirlwind of activity. Harris and his team go through the new evidence, connecting the dots, preparing for another round of arrests. I'm heavily involved, my expertise crucial to deciphering the encrypted files. It's exhausting, but the end is in sight. Emily is my rock through all of this. Her presence is a constant source of strength. One night, after a particularly grueling day, she surprises me with a home-cooked meal. We sit together, the warm glow of the candles creating a cocoon of intimacy. "I'm proud of you, John," she says, her eyes shining with admiration. "Thank you, Emily. I couldn't have done this without you," I reply, reaching for her hand. She smiles, a soft, tender smile that makes my heart swell. We're a team. The investigation reaches its climax. Harris's team moves in, making arrests, dismantling the remnants of Richard's network. The operation is a success, but the victory feels bittersweet. The damage has been done, and the road to recovery is long. I visit Lisa one last time before she's transferred to prison. We sit in a small, sterile room, the silence heavy between us. She looks at me, her eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and gratitude. "Thank you, John," she says softly, for giving me a chance to make things right. I nod, struggling to find the right words. I hope you find peace, Lisa. She nods, tears brimming. I'm sorry for everything. Truly. I stand up, ready to leave. Goodbye, Lisa. As I walk out, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. The chapter is finally closing. The journey has been long and painful, but I've come out stronger. Back home, Emily and I start planning our future. We book tickets for our trip, excited for the adventures ahead. It's a chance to leave the past behind, to create new memories together. The day of our departure arrives. We board the plane, our hearts full of hope. As the plane takes off, I look out the window, watching the city fade into the distance. It's a new beginning, a fresh start. We travel to beautiful places, exploring new cultures, meeting new people. Each day is a gift, a reminder of the beauty of life. Emily and I grow even closer, our bond deepening with each shared experience. One evening, we're sitting on a beach, the sunset painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Emily turns to me, her eyes sparkling with joy. John, this has been amazing. Thank you for everything. I smile, feeling a warmth spread through me. No, thank you, Emily. You've given me a new lease on life. We kiss, the world around us fading away. It's just the two of us in this moment of pure bliss. Back home, we settle into a new routine. I continue my work with the police department, using my skills to fight cybercrime. It's fulfilling, a way to make a difference. Emily pursues her art, her paintings reflecting the beauty she sees in the world. Our life together is peaceful and happy. We support each other, celebrate each other's successes, and face challenges together. The scars of the past are still there, but they've faded, replaced by new memories and a future filled with promise. One day, Emily surprises me with a painting she's been working on. It's a beautiful landscape, full of vibrant colors and life. This is for you, she says, her eyes shining with love. A reminder of our journey. I'm touched, my heart swelling with emotion. Thank you, Emily. It's perfect. We hang the painting in our living room, a symbol of our love and resilience. Every time I look at it, I'm reminded of how far we've come and how much we've overcome together. The final confrontation with Lisa and Richard is behind me. Justice has been served, and I've found peace. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it with Emily by my side. As I reflect on everything that's happened, I realize that I'm stronger than I ever thought possible. I've faced betrayal, heartbreak, and danger, but I've come out the other side with a renewed sense of purpose and hope. The journey has been long and hard, but it's led me to where I am today, a place of love, peace, and new beginnings. I'm grateful for every challenge, every obstacle, because they've shaped me into the person I am now. As Emily and I stand on the beach watching the sunset, I feel a deep sense of contentment. The future is uncertain, but it's full of possibilities. Together we can face anything. The final confrontation is over, but the journey continues. Life is a series of challenges and triumphs, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. With Emily by my side, I know we can overcome anything. We walk hand in hand, the waves lapping at our feet, the world stretching out before us. It's a new chapter, a new adventure, and I'm ready to embrace it with all my heart. The past is behind me, and the future is bright. Together we can face anything. The journey has been long and difficult. I've faced betrayal, heartbreak, and danger. But now, standing at the edge of the shore with Emily, I feel a sense of peace that's eluded me for so long. The waves lap gently at our feet, the horizon stretching out infinitely. The trial is behind us. Richard and Lisa have been brought to justice. Their network dismantled, their power stripped away. The chaos they caused is over, and I've emerged stronger, more resilient. The past is a shadow that no longer controls me. I look at Emily, her face lit by the fading light of the setting sun. Her smile is warm, her eyes full of love. She's been my rock through all of this, her support unwavering. We've built something beautiful together. something real. John, she says softly, breaking the comfortable silence. What are you thinking about? I smile, squeezing her hand. The future, I say. Our future. She leans into me, resting her head on my shoulder. It's going to be amazing. I just know it. We stand there for a while, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The sky transforms into a canvas of deep purples and blues, stars beginning to twinkle. It's a moment of pure serenity, a promise of new beginnings. Life slowly returns to normal. I throw myself into my work, using my skills to help others. Each case I solve, each criminal brought to justice, is a step towards healing. Emily's art flourishes, her paintings capturing the beauty and resilience of the human spirit. Our home is filled with laughter, love, and hope. One evening, Emily and I sit in our living room, the fire crackling softly. She's working on a new painting, the colors vibrant and full of life. I watch her, my heart swelling with pride and love. Emily, there's something I want to ask you, I say, my voice steady, but my heart racing. She looks up, curiosity and affection in her eyes. What is it, John? I take a deep breath, reaching into my pocket. I know we've been through a lot, but through it all, you've been my strength, my anchor. I can't imagine my life without you. Emily, will you marry me? Her eyes fill with tears, a radiant smile spreading across her face. Yes, John. Yes, I'll marry you. I slip the ring onto her finger, my hands trembling with emotion. We kiss, the world around us fading away. It's just the two of us in this perfect moment, promising forever. Our wedding is a small, intimate affair. Just close friends and family, gathered to celebrate our love. The ceremony is simple, but the emotions are overwhelming. As we exchange vows, I feel a profound sense of peace and joy. Emily is my partner, my love, my future. We embark on a new journey together, building a life filled with love and adventure. We travel, explore new places, create new memories. Each day is a gift, a testament to our resilience and love. The scars of the past remain, but they've faded, replaced by new experiences and a future full of promise. I've learned to embrace the uncertainty, to face each challenge with courage and hope. With Emily by my side, I know we can overcome anything. As I reflect on our journey, I realize that the trials we faced have shaped us, made us stronger. We've built a life that's full of love, trust, and joy. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it with all my heart. One evening, as we sit on our porch, watching the stars, Emily turns to me, her eyes filled with love. John, we've come so far. I'm so proud of us. I smile, pulling her close. I am too, Emily. We've faced so much, but we've come out stronger. The future is ours, and I can't wait to see what it holds. We sit in comfortable silence, the night wrapping around us like a warm blanket. The journey has been hard, but it's also been beautiful. We've found love, hope, and a future filled with endless possibilities. The past is behind us, a chapter that's closed. The future is a blank canvas, ready for us to paint with our dreams and love. As I hold Emily close, I know that no matter what challenges come our way, we'll face them together. And that's all that matters. The story concludes, but our journey continues. Life is a series of trials and triumphs, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. With Emily by my side, I know we can face anything. The future is bright, and I'm excited to embrace it with all the love and strength we've built together.